Everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Corrine, obviously. And today, sorry, sorry about that. Today I want to try out a technique. I haven't actually done it before myself. I've seen it done by a couple of people. I saw a picture, came across my feed someplace. I don't even know who to tag to say who I got the technique from, but I know I've seen Jennifer McGuire do this. Essentially, what I'm going to be doing is creating dimension using die cuts. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to do the card. I don't have a sample to show you. I'm winging it here. And we'll go from there. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to add, so I'm just taking, this is just simple 65-pound cardstock from Michaels. So it's just kind of like a navy-ish blue color. And it was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I've trimmed it down to now 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to add some shading on this because this is going to be kind of a tone on tone card. That's my intent. With the dimension coming from the die cuts. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull out, this is a grip mat. And essentially what it is it's kind of like, it's a piece of kind of like a silicone. And on one side, it's smooth but sticky. And on the other side, it has kind of little ridges that can either hold your project up on it or it's also really great when you stick it down on something. So for example, I'm going to stick it down on my glass mat here, and you'll see it doesn't really move. So I can put my cardstock on here, and now it's not really going to move. So it's going to allow me to add some inks. I'm going to add some dye-based inks on here. I'm pretty sure the Blue Lagoon may add something. I'm likely going to get a little bit more from the two darker tones, but I'm going to see what I can get from these. So I'm going to start with the lighter tones, see if I can get anything and kind of create an ombre effect. All right. And I'm going to be using my Elements by Lavinia Stamps. These are dye-based inks because I don't want it to sit on top of the paper. I want it to saturate or sink into the paper. So in order to do that, you need a dye-based ink because pigment-based inks sit on top of the paper. So I'm going to add a little bit of ink to my brush here and tap off in the lid. And I'm going to come in. Starting at the top, it's kind of going to bring in a little bit of color. I don't even know if that's, oh, there's a little bit. You can see a little bit on the screen here where it's kind of, let me tilt that. That's a weird angle. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get that, but now you're, well, nope, still haven't got my belly in it. So there we go. But you can see that there is a little bit of light coming, or a little bit of saturation happening on the far right side here. So that's cool. Wasn't sure I was even going to get that much, but that's good, particularly with such a light color. So I'm going to move that to the side here, and I'm going to pull out the Blue Lagoon. Now, these are all dye-based inks, so I'm not going to clean my brush in between because I'm just adding like a deeper tone now to my brush. And I'm going to tap off again here. And then I'm going to come in, add that in. Oh, that one's not showing up as much. There we go. Okay, now it's actually tapping off. So I don't know. I must not have managed to get anything on my brush there. First one. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my mat here so you can just see. So I am actually getting some tones on the blue. Okay. Now, I think what I want to do is I am going to lift this up because I want to get into the darker tones, but because I'm right-handed, I want to be able to take them from the right into the left, not trying to come the other way. So actually what I'm going to do, rather than having to grab out my baby wipes and whatever, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to put my lighter brush aside, and I'm going to bring out my brush that I use for the darker colors. Okay, so this one here, so the first one was Blue Atoll. Second color was Blue Lagoon. This one is Adela Blue. And it's just Add some tone to my ink to my brush. Go. They're gonna come in. So I was scrolling through something. I don't know. It might have been Team. It might have been it might have been just Facebook too, or maybe it was YouTube. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what I was scrolling through, but I saw a picture come across of a card that was made using some dies that I have. So these are this thanks here I'm going to use in the next video, but they're sugar script dies from Birch Press Industries, Birch Press Hills. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, and they're some of my favorite dyes. I've had them for a very long time. I use them quite a bit. This is a different way that I've never used them in this way. Now I'm going to go on to the dark denim. So this is the darkest navy that I have of the Element inks. And come in. Okay. So, and you can actually see as I'm pushing it along here that I've actually put enough in that it's kind of moving between the two tones here. Let me see if you can say, well, actually, that's actually showing up quite well on the screen. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up my cardstock here, bring that up. You can see that I've got it going darker, kind of to the lighter tone, which is handy. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so now to kind of match that, what I want to do is I'm going to take my sentiments, which just for your guys' sake, I've already pre-cut because nobody likes having to wait while somebody's cutting their sentiments. Yeah, you guys don't need to hang around while I'm cutting my sentiments. This took an hour to cut my sentiments, so I don't want to make you guys wait for that part because that's not fun. But what I want to do is I'm going to stick them down on my sticky mat here and just kind of push them in just a little bit to have them kind of grip a little bit. And I'm just kind of going off to the edge here, pulling out the pieces that I didn't pop out because I was doing a little lazy there. And I think there's a couple more in here. And birthday. I think I cut 6 or 7 of each of these. 6, apparently. There we go. So 6. All right. And what I want to do with these guys is essentially the same, but I don't think that I need to do as many colors. So all I'm going to do is come in and on the lower half of my sentiments, I'm just going to drag my brush along them and create a bit of a ombre look. So you can see that it kind of goes from the darker to the lighter on the birthday sentiment here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And these ones I'm not stacking up. I don't need to stack them up. I'm just going to keep them. I want a single layer. It's 2. So you can really see it on this particular one. Put my hand underneath it there. You can see how dark to light it goes there. Kind of creating a bit of an ombre, giving a little bit more depth again, because we're using a two-dimensional product. Paper is two-dimensional, right? And we're trying to add depth and dimension. So the best way to do that is to add layers and tones and highlights. Yeah, all of those kind of things. So that's what we're doing here by adding this little bit of, oops, little bit of shading on here. And I'm also going to do this on the magical one too. So this sentiment that I used is done in a kind of like a Disney script. I have no idea. I bought this from Allie like years ago, and it just says magical birthday, magical birth. Well, doesn't say magical birthday multiple times. I cut it out multiple times, just to use for my background. A little bit more. If you don't like getting ink on your fingers, because this is getting ink on my fingers, what I would suggest doing is, but it's because I'm using such a big brush, right? Like if I'd pulled out my finer detail blending brushes, I probably wouldn't be getting quite as much ink on my fingers. Although somehow I do, have you crafted? Have you really paper crafted if you don't have ink on your fingers? I don't know. It doesn't seem to work that way for me. So there you go. What are you gonna do, right? Okay, so let's do. Yeah, and I'm doing this in shades of blue, so I'm imagining that this will likely turn out more masculine than uh because of the shades of blue. But you could certainly do this as a tone on tone in any shades, purples, blues, greens, reds, black, white, actually, I think the next video that I do is going to be shades of white to show you, because again, I think I had told you in one of the previous videos, I think it was the background die cut, cover plate dies. I think I said I was going to do a white on white on white. And so I've got it all cut and prepped to go. So that's going to be one of the following videos, depending on when this one goes. Might end up waiting until August, just because I'm planning on doing some videos for July, Christmas in July. I'm actually been thinking about it because, as you guys mentioned last year, that I can't believe that I forgot about doing some Christmas in July videos. Um, so I was kind of giggling to myself there. I was like, I don't know how I managed to miss that. What happened there? Good question. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to gonna get a baby wipe here. I have to open up and pack of baby wipes super quick. Very quick. This was the last one. Okay, good to know. All right. I'm going to give this a bit of a wipe. Okay, so and again, this is just a dye-based ink, so it's just water-based. It'll clean right off. Just like that. Very nice. Clean. No, came off of, well, most of my fingers. This will come off by tomorrow, no problem. Okay, let's put that there, and then I'm going to put the cover back on. Now, there are several crafting companies that have these kind of grip mats out now. There is one from Tim Holtz and Ranger. There is one out from scrapbook.com has their own kind. I got this one from Alina Cuddle. There are, oh geez, the grip mat for the Altenew stamp wheel is the same thing. So, lots of different options out there for whatever you would like to do. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my panel, and you can see here, let me see if I got some white here. Yeah, I do have some white. Okay, you can see the differing tones, how nicely that shows up on there. And then let's see if that helps to show you the different shades of the blue on this. Okay, so what I want to do now is I am going to space these. And what I want to do is I'm just going to pull them in, magical, and then I'm going to start and I'm going to kind of cut them off. So I've got one, two, let's see, that. So it can be three. I'm just kind of trying to eyeball it so that I can actually have them fit on the card a little bit. And I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not gonna be that person who has to matchy because that just doesn't work for me. And okay, yeah, that should work well enough. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the magical. Let's go magical birthday. I might have too many here actually, which is great. That's not a big deal. And I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna take some of my adhesive. I'm just going to use my liquid adhesive. Now, if you don't like using liquid adhesive on the back of your die cuts, that's fine. You can use some sticky specks or something like that, whatever you've got. If you've got I don't know, if you like to make them out of like stickers using a Xyron or something like that, you do you. Whichever works easiest for you. And I think what I want to do is I want to try and have it straight. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Okay, and it's going to come off of the card just a little bit, but that's what I want. Okay. And then I'm going to take this B, or well, not B, but the birthday. Let's see where it's going to go. A ton left there, right? So magical. I'm going to go birthday. That. Okay. Then I'm going to take I'm going to take the birthday. Actually, what I want to do is I think I'm going to cut this right off on the back, and I'm going to use, so I'm using my, sorry guys, that's a little louder than it needed to be. I'm going to use my crafty scissors or my cheapo scissors because there is going to be adhesive on these, right? Because it's sticking off the end. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to trim it right to the end. Now, this part I want to take and I'm going to go like this. I'm going to fit it right in here and continue on. And I want to try and fit it. So you can see here where the G, where it says the G is going to fit kind of right underneath that in between the D and the A. I think that'll be really cool right there. So that's what I'm going to aim for. See if I can remember to do that when I get to that point. All right. Okay. Magical birthday. And so that one I can leave hanging off the end, but now I'm going to go in with another magical. And let's see here. So it's going to go to the G almost. Yeah. So by now, I'm sure you're getting the gist of it. We're just going to basically place it down to, we're just going to keep creating the background, doing it this way. And just using our sentiment and gluing it down to wherever it fits, and then cutting it off essentially. Getting it into one spot, and then trimming right at the edge of where our card is. Now, the other thing too, if you wanted, and you don't want to trim it this way, what I could have done, although I like it getting right to the edge here, so I like it this way, but not everybody might like it this way. So what you could do if you wanted is keep your card at a 4 1/4, like use a full size card base, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then stick everything down and then trim it to 4 1/4, or sorry, 4 by 5 1/4, because I'm going to put this on a white card base, right? But just to kind of have it pop off of there a little bit. So right here, I'm going to go with the Ical. So magical. Up there. That. And then I'm going to pull in the birthday. And how far along is the birthday going to go? Oh, right to the D. Very nice. Okay. So how is everybody's summer coming so far? Hopefully everybody's been, well, it's not quite summer. I mean, it's mid-June. Feels like a lot of summer. I'm almost made it through my family's birthday season. We've got Father's Day coming up this weekend, and then we'll be going on vacay the week after. So not next week, but the week after, which will be fun. Looking forward to that. Go wrong with a bit of a vacay. Um, and then yeah, and then after that is mine and my dad's birthday in mid-July. So and then my brother's is not until August. But so we've almost made it through, which is very exciting, very exciting. Getting to that point because it's a very busy time of year for us. Obviously, it's a lot of birthdays, a lot of time spent with family, which is, always nice. That sounded kind of funny, didn't it? No, it's lovely to spend with family. Maybe that didn't sound very believable. No, I spent a lot of time with my family. I quite enjoy hanging out with them and my brother and sister-in-law and the kids and mom and dad and yeah. So we do quite a bit together as a family, which is really nice. I don't know that there's a lot of families out there that do that. We seem to enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe we're all just what's that? It's not Stockholm syndrome, but the people that you hang out with, that's all maybe all you know. I don't know. So I'll just put that out there. Who knows? Who knows? Um, yeah. So I think I'm gonna get almost all of this magical on there, which would be cool. Okay. Do this here. Yeah. I don't know what else anybody else has been up to. Anybody, in the comments, let me know if you have big plans coming up for the year this year for your summer. How are you guys coming along with your crafting? How's everybody's craft rooms? Are they staying clean? Mine is not. I think I told you guys in one of the last videos that my nephew came down here and was like, "Oh my gosh, I could be so creative down here, but boy, it's a sty." I didn't even know that he knew that word. I mean, he'll be turning, oh yeah, Bodhi's birthday is next week. So he'll be turning 8 next week. So that's a pretty big thing, which, we're all can't believe it's been 8 years already. So, but that'd be nice. And yeah, so, but it's just kind of crazy. And, I haven't been getting down here as much as I would like to, into my craft room. So when I am getting down here, it's like, I just want to play. I don't want to clean up my mess. So I want to get to that point where I am actually being a good, crafty person who's managing that. But it is what it is. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't get cleaned because it's mostly just me. But again, best way to have your spaces get cleaned is, have people over. Can't believe how well that works. It's very maybe it's not motivating for everybody else. Maybe it's just me that it's motivating for. I find it very motivating to um well, I mean, I like my space to look a certain way and feel a certain way. And when it's just me, it's fine. I can make do. But when people are coming, then I definitely want it to be a certain way. My husband comments on it all the time. He's like, "Well, Corinne, you just like to put on airs." And it's more about how I like to feel in my, like in my brain, in my head kind of thing. So that's more what it is for me, but that's okay. He has a point of view. He's entitled, whether I agree with him or not, he's entitled to his point of view. I'm sure you all feel the same with your spouses. Okay, pop this M on here. Oop, in there. Oh, that B is lifting. Turn that over and don't. Okay. I kind of want to get this pretty low here because I think that will help. Let's see. Want it that low? Yeah, I think I could make that work. Okay. I'm going to catch the edge of this M here that I cut off on the other side of the card here. I think I'm going to end up cutting off that part of the G, but I want to make sure that the extra that's there does get stuck down just in case. So let's stick this like that. The nice thing about paper is you can kind of pull it into position. If it's not quite right, just kind of tip it up a little bit, right? Which is nice. Neat. And let's see here. So we've got letter B. So I can fit that in, yeah, right there. So that's going to end up going not quite to the T. And of course, the adhesive that I'm using in here is the uh, Barely Art liquid adhesive, which is the one that I really like to use, especially here in Canada. It's very handy because it can be shipped in the winter. So I've got a little bit of an overlap here, but that's okay because I think that's where my main sentiment is going to go. So I'm gonna snip that. So I've got a few left that I can use. So I've got two full sentiments still left here that I can use on another card. And I'm going to come along the edge here. I'm going to crop the little pieces that are hanging off so that I get a nice smooth finish at the edge here. So, and hanging over, looks like it is. So let's just get in there. There we go. Okay, so far, there is our card base. So you can see here, it's pretty cool actually. Pretty happy for something that is just a trial, right? So now I've got the tittles for the eyes here. So I want to go in and pop those down for wherever there is an eye. In the magical. So for example, there should be a little bit of an eye right there. So I'm going to put that right there. Magical. And should be one right there. Oh, let's grab that. And it's upside down. Awesome. Right. Birthday magical is another one right there. Not really sure why I feel the need to have to repeat magical. I think it's mostly just so I'm hoping I don't miss where one of these tables is supposed to go. To spell it out to myself. I don't know. Probably help if I looked in and just had the die here by itself. That would help. Actually, I could show you guys the dies. As you can see, they're two separate dies, and but they're done in a really lovely Disney script. Um, and I've had them for quite some time, but I haven't used them very often because it feels unfinished, right? I would like it to say magical birthday wishes or um, wishing you a magical birthday. That would be great. And I probably have a stamp that would be like wishing you a magical birthday. That could work very easily. I just haven't bothered to find that. So I thought I would give this a go because this seems like it could really work. Okay. All right. So there's the base so far. I'm just going to pull out a couple of blocks and kind of push them down to make sure that everything is adhering well. There we go. A little bit of oomph. There we go. Pretty cool. Then, so where did I put my card base? Here's my card base. So I'm going to make this a top folding for A2 size. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And we're going to pop this on there just like that, which will give it a really nice border to help the darker saturation, like the darker blues is going to pop really nicely off of this. And a bit of adhesive. Stick it down. And gonna pop that down. Down there. Nope, not quite straight. The nice thing about liquid adhesive, it does give me a minute, which is lovely. Make sure I did that right. I did. Okay, good. Okay, and then because it doesn't have, I don't feel like this quite finishes it. So I want to add again, because I was talking about like I would like it to say magical birthday wishes or something like that, but I don't have a sentiment that says wishes that is similar to this. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to put a different sentiment on there. So because this actually says magical birthday right there, I'm not sure that I want to cover that up. So I think I'm going to do this in the top right-hand corner, kind of like, or sorry, top left-hand corner, just like that. So it's another separate, again, I don't know why I have so many of these. I must have liked them or something, but these are two separate dies, but they work really well together because they've got similar uh, font. That's the word that I'm looking for. It's a similar font, like the P's and the H's and the Y's, they all look the same. It's kind of like the sugar script. It's likely a birch press die as well. But you can see that the happy is bigger than the birthday. But I think that because the magical birthday shows up so well down here, so we could either leave that and do this down here in the shiny and have that. I actually, okay, so that's what that looks like there. So, and I've cut this out of blue mirrored cardstock, mirrored and iridescent cardstock from, I'm gonna say that it's Tonic Studios in their 5-pack, but I think I think we could even center this actually. So if we did this, because it still shows the magical birthday down below it here, and then this centered. Yeah, I like that. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna stick this one down first, the top one, the bigger one. And I want to make sure that I'm getting a decent adherence behind this. So I'm going to add a little bit of liquid adhesive, but I want to make sure that I'm getting a decent adherence because again, it's not flat behind the cardstock here, like, right? Like behind the sentiment, because there's the extra layer of the magical birthday sentiment that's going along the bottom. So, or the card front. So I want to make sure that my liquid adhesive is going to adhere to parts that are already glued down, right? So, and then with the sentiment, so not only did I cut it out of the blue mirrored cardstock or the light blue mirrored cardstock, I also cut it twice out of a navy so that I could pop it up a little bit. But I didn't want to have too much white showing underneath of it. So that was why I did the navy, because if I'd have popped it up with white, you would have been able to see that from the side. And I didn't want to have too much because I knew that it was going to be somewhat dark on the front. So I wanted it to stay that. So this one, I want to pop this right here so that the P kind of goes right into that area. You get this really nice, almost looks like it's popping together there, right? Putting that in there. And then there is a tittle. So, which goes right in here. I'm going to add some adhesive there, like that. Pick up this tittle and put that down there. Oh, come on, get in there. There we go. Okay. Now, with the this happy birthday sentiment that I did here as well, I also did on the navy. I just shifted it over, not even like an eighth of an inch, like just a minute amount. And I've got a little squidgy because I got a little carried away with the glue for the tittle here. So I'm just going to use my fancy tweezers and just pick up a little bit of that. I don't need to pick it all up because it will dry clear, so that's fine. It's not going to be the end of the world, but I want it to be seen. Now, because I'm going to leave this, I think I'm going to leave this as a masculine card because it's nice and dark and it's already got the bit of shine to it with the sentiment, obviously. That's our card. How cool is that? I am really happy with the background. So I don't know how much texture you guys are going to be able to pick up there on camera, but you can see, like, you can really feel the texture because of the extra layers here. And then obviously we've got the popping of the sentiment up, which adds that little bit of shine, which adds some brightness to what is a very dark, or could be seen as a very dark background. But I think that that adds some really lovely, lovely, lovely shades to it. Okay, guys. Well, that's going to be our video for today. I have another one that's similar, but it's going to be using white. So kind of white on white technique, or light on white. But yeah, that's going to follow up next here. And as I said, I don't know where it's going to fall in the scheme of when the videos are coming. Might come out in August. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, remember to keep them kind, but please do, by all means, put them in the comment section. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.